hard-earned tax dollars as you want. I applaud and thank the 35 senators and 168 members of the House who courageously stood with me on this issue. And now that I've vetoed this bill, I hope the Congress will get the message and work with me to reduce spending in a responsible way that does not threaten our national security. If it doesn't, then I'll do what must be done. I will veto again and again until spending is brought under control. So please help me by telling your representatives to stop talking about deficits and to start helping me bring them down. Thank you, and God bless you.
Mr. President, are you confident that you will, this veto will stand up in Congress?
Well, I believe if those in Congress vote as they voted for the piece of legislation, and if they evidence the same or vote that same way with regard to a veto, yes, it will be upheld.
The Democrats say that the farmers who voted for you are going to feel betrayed and are going to take this out on other Republicans. What do you think the political fallout of this will be? Aren't you hurting Republicans?
Well, the thing is, the farmers would only consider this. They would recognize that we are helping. I've just given the figures there, $4.5 billion that's already planned for their help, plus $15 billion. We have spent $50 billion on aid to farmers in the last 4 years. More than that in the last 3 years, as a matter of fact. And what I said in there with regard to figures doesn't touch on the additional program that in September Secretary Block initiated, several new issues, a 5-year set-aside of up to 25% to a maximum of $200,000 of a FMHA borrower's interest payments, $650 million in guarantees for refinancing up to 90% of the restructured commercial loans, provided the private sector lender writes off 10% of the principal or interest on the loan. Now, up till now, only about $25 million of that 650 has been used. Has anyone sought it? And then on February 6th, Secretary Block initiated additional measures to build upon the September initiatives. Farm Credit Coordinating Group, chaired by him, will make sure that all federal credit agencies work closely together to solve the farm liquidity problems. Modified federal regulations will make it possible for banks to work out lower payments for farmers having liquidity problems. And guarantees of up to 90% of operating loans will be provided for eligible farmers whose local banks fail and who can't find a new private lender without such a guarantee. Now, some lenders have been unwilling to participate in this program, but that was due to the uncertainty about whether something better might come out of the Congress. But these are the things we're doing. The truth of the matter is, in need of immediate help are less than 4%, or around 4% at best, of all the farmers in the United States. 96% do not have any liquidity problems.
Well, the Democrats seem to think they have a pretty hot political issue. Do they?
Well, I would rather treat with the issue as it relates to our own financial problems at the federal government and not as a political
Do
issue.
you think they're playing politics with it, sir?
You'll have to ask them. But I certainly don't think that tying this to a bill on food aid for the starving people in Africa was exactly the way to go in this kind of legislation. As a matter of fact, it emphasized the real need for a line-item veto.
Mr. President, would you sign the food aid bill if the farm provision was stripped away?
Yes. But again, let me reiterate what I've said, that as of right now, there is going to be no interruption of the aid that we're giving because of funds that are already available.
The Senate Budget Committee yesterday voted to cut your defense budget by $11 billion. Doesn't that show a lack of support for your defense program just as we're going to Geneva?
Well, now, Chris, I took your questions here that had to do with the issue of the day, and I'd rather limit it to that, and I think I should, rather than we get into a general press conference. There'll be time coming up for us to talk about those other
Congress.
things. What?
It is Congress.
Yes, but I've been meeting and with a great many of them on both sides of the aisle, and there's evidence of some willingness to stand together on these other matters. So if you don't mind, I'll make my way out the door now. All right?
President, do you think it's appropriate for Mr. Deaver and the others to have taken a discount on those cars?
Now, that's another question. It doesn't have to deal with the farm problem.
Would you nod? Shake your head?
But, you're talking about something that has gone on for a great many years, that exists in our embassies in all other countries. It's a standard practice that's been used for many, many years.
So you see nothing wrong with what he did, sir?
No. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank all of you.